again, everybody. I thought that I'd do another video. It's been a little bit since the last one. And one question I get asked a whole lot, like a disproportionate amount, is what kind of games I play. Well, I know you probably mean computer games, and I do play a few of those, but today we're going to be talking about, well, these guys here. These are board and card games. I play a lot of them, at least I used to, and we're going to walk through my entertainment shelf today. While it's not strictly speaking part of my entertainment shelf, what we have here is kind of the entertainment center. So on the top, big television. I have a Chromecast attached to this thing so I can watch YouTube and Netflix on here. I don't have cable, mostly because, well, I've got Netflix and YouTube. Down here, we've got the controller for the audio system and a tape deck that's not really hooked up. At the bottom, there's a gap where the PS3 usually goes. I've got it loaned out to a friend at the moment. Over here, we have the PlayStation 2, not hooked up, but still works fine. This is actually the one that I got when I was in high school, and it still works absolutely perfectly, which is great. And we have just a spot for me to put random bits and pieces. Right now we have a couple of empty cardboard boxes and a couple empty CD cases. Next up, we have the entertainment shelf itself. So let's start right at the top. We have this trophy. So if you read that there, it says, First Manitoba Driver's License in a Model T Ford. And that's actually true. I earned my driver's license driving a car very similar to the one on top of the trophy. Sitting next to it, you see the instructions for putting the shelf together. Nothing too special there. Next shelf down, we have the DVD and game collection. So there's a pretty, not really a wide variety. It's a lot of science fiction and fantasy stuff. You have the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 games. Incidentally, I've actually owned all 3 systems. Next shelf down, we have the stuff shelf. So this is just a little bit of everything, a whole lot of dragons, a TARDIS, and in the back you see a Mayan-looking mask. I'm actually not entirely sure about the details of the mask. I got it at a thrift store when I was a lot younger, and I've just kind of hung on to it. So if anybody knows anything about it, feel free to tell me in the comments section. Next shelf down, we have another stuff shelf with a little bit more of a variety of things. So we have some origami paper, because I do origami sometimes, nothing too crazy. A few dice from various games I play, some Lego, a rock painted to look like a dog, pins, floppy disks in the back, sonic screwdriver, and a spyglass that actually belonged to my grandfather. Next shelf down, we have board and card games. We'll go over those in a little bit more detail in just a little bit. And at the bottom, we have the game books. So that's the Dungeons and Dragons and Shadowrun and various other role-playing systems. This isn't all of them. This is just the largest section of them that I have. So let's jump back here. I'm going to put down the phone, and we are going to talk about the various games in this section. So we're going to start with the smaller boxes. And to start with, we have, well, a lot of playing cards. I like playing cards, but they don't get used all that often. I don't have a whole lot of friends that play cards, and really, there are better options when you have these kind of games available. So next up, we have kind of these smaller boxes. Starting with the simple stuff like this guy here. This is actually a set of tarot cards, or tarot cards, depending on who you talk to. I never really believed in this stuff, but it was kind of fun at parties. It comes with a little book that has all the definitions. Kind of fun, not really a game though. And we have lunch money. So lunch money is kind of an evolved version of the card game War, if you ever played that. There's all different kinds of cards, and you try to beat each other up in order to win lunch money. So like this one, you can poke someone in the eye for 1 damage. Kind of fun. Doesn't see a whole lot of use. We have other card games that we play. We have Quelf, which again doesn't see a whole lot of play. It's kind of weird. It's more of a party game than it is some kind of thing that you just sit down and play with your friends for fun. You have to do weird stuff in order to win points. Person with the most points by doing weird stuff at the end wins. I don't particularly like it very much. It was a present, but it makes it onto the shelf because it's not very big, doesn't take up much space. And we have 3 Dragon Ante. This is from the Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition thing. It can be played with Dungeons & Dragons, doesn't have to be, but I like it because it's got these really funky looking cards. That kind of round and square edges at the same time. A lot of fun. A lot of light poker, actually. We have 101. Some of you from Weber Academy might recognize this one. It's kind of like tic-tac-toe, honestly. It's a 2-person game, and you use binary and computer cards to try and get the highest number of points by putting them in a grid. It sounds like it's really computer heavy, but it's actually has almost nothing to do with computers other than the aesthetic of the game. Kind of fun. Not good if you got more than one other friend, though. We have Onirim. I think that's how you say it. I've never actually been able to find another copy of this game. It's a solitaire game. You can play it with a friend, but you don't have to. Where you have to try and escape a dream world with some very interesting aesthetics. So the cards are really artsy. It's a very pretty game. It is a brutally hard game. I think I've only ever won it maybe once or twice. So if you're looking for something that's much more difficult and much more colorful than solitaire, try looking for Onirim. I actually found it in the back shelf in a game store for about $1 because they'd never seen it before either, and nobody was really interested in the game. We have Monty Python Flux. So Flux is a card game that is pure chaos. The rules change almost every round. It's more of a game of chance than it is a game of skill. It can be fun. This one's particularly fun if you're a Monty Python fan. It can be combined with the other Flux card games if you've played them before, or it can be played by itself. It's great in huge groups. You can play with, I think, up to 8 people. The box says 6. I've played it with 10 people before, and it didn't really make a noticeable difference. A lot of fun, a lot of chaos. Worth a try. And we have Cthulhu dice. More of a glorified version of rock, paper, scissors. I got it for a couple of dollars at a store, and I just like it because it's got a really neat die. So I can get it out of the bag here. Comes with a whole bunch of glass beads and this green die, and it's got elder signs, got tentacles on it, it's got all kinds, everything except numbers. It's a lot of fun to play with, but honestly, the game itself is, it's not worth playing. It's really pretty, but I would not recommend anyone buy it. We have Ultimate Werewolf Inquisition. So that's very similar to the werewolf game, except this one is designed for people who don't like getting kicked out in round 1, because everybody plays for the whole game. Kind of neat. Doesn't see a whole lot of use, mostly because I don't have enough friends to be playing this all at once with them. And while we're talking about that, we have the actual werewolf game. This obviously isn't the box that it came in. Although if anyone can guess where this box is actually from, you get free internet points. But this is Werewolf. I put them in little plastic sleeves because the cards are getting extremely well used. A lot of fun. I always enjoy playing Werewolf. I really wish I had more friends who are willing to sit down and play it. And last of the little box stuff, Boss Monster 2, the next level. So Boss Monster, I haven't actually sat and played this version. I played Boss Monster with my friends, liked it so much, went out and got this one. It's what's called a standalone expansion pack. You can play the game without the other game, but you can also combine the two just to make it that much better. You play the boss monster of a retro-style adventure game, and you build your dungeon to destroy the adventurers that try to enter your dungeon. You take their gold and use the gold to make an even better dungeon, and try to make your dungeon better than all of your opponents. Like I said, I've never played this version, but Boss Monster by itself, a lot of fun. A really quick game, actually. It seems like it should last longer, but it really doesn't. Now, let's get on to the bigger boxes. So this is the collection of larger box games. And of course, the one you see right on top is the bigger, blacker box. If you haven't heard of Cards Against Humanity yet, honestly, it's not really a kid's game. This is very much an adult's game. The best way I can describe it is apples to apples for absolutely horrible people. Don't buy this game if you're under 18. If you do, don't show your parents. Because this is a very vulgar, very rude game, but it is a ton of fun, especially if your friends are as horrible as you are. So that's the bigger, blacker box. That's the last I'm saying about that. Kitsune of Foxes and Fools. This is a game that I actually got online. I've talked to the people who developed this game. It was a Kickstarter game. I didn't catch it in time to get on the Kickstarter, but I did get the base game. You play a fox who is trying to gain all 9 tails so he can ascend to heaven, or something along those lines. It is ridiculously complicated. You are encouraged to roleplay as you play the games, and what you do is you play pranks on deserving individuals. So someone who is overly greedy, you play a prank on them to try and fix their greed. Interesting game. Really hard to find. This was the only one available at the time. Then we have these 3 boxes here. Yes, 3. This is Mice and Mystics. It's kind of like baby's first role-playing game, because it does all of the role-playing for you. All you need to do is the day-to-day playing. So like, you're out adventuring, you're destroying other rats and centipedes and bugs and stuff. You play as the mouse on the screen, on the board there. And my goodness, this comes with a lot of stuff. So I actually got this carrying case just to keep all of the bits and pieces in. And there are a lot of bits and pieces. So this is the base game. It comes with all of these map tiles. And they're double-sided. And it comes with a storybook. So this is the rule book. This explains how to play the game. Very pretty rule book, by the way. Full color. But then you have the storybook. And there are cues for you to read as you play along, as well as instructions on how to set up the board, special events that happen at special moments. It's a lot of fun. The base game itself is a lot of fun. There are hours and hours and hours and hours worth of fun to be had here. I've never finished just the base game by itself. It takes that long to play. But that's not what makes this game incredible. What makes this game incredible is it came with 2 complete expansion packs. So, Heart of Glorm, I think Glorm is the glow bug up here. This one's pretty neat. It uses the same panels for the most part as the base game. It just comes with a few new characters and a new storybook. The impressive part of this is Downwood Tales. This box is actually bigger than the base game. And the storybook, look at the size of that. That is a novel. This thing is huge. It's got a branching story, so there's more than one way for it to end. It's got achievements. I didn't think a board game could have achievements, but it has them. This is an incredibly great game. If you love role-playing, or if you love not complicated, detailed games, I would highly recommend Mice and Mystics. There are also a couple of web expansions, and if you don't like reading, the base game, you can actually purchase the story as a CD. And you can play the CD rather than reading it aloud. Just loads and loads of fun. We have here, this isn't really a game per se. This is a set of D20 dice. So if you've ever played Dungeons & Dragons, or any other similar type of game, you'll recognize this. This is a D20, or 20-sided die. Anytime you need to do something, you kind of roll the die. I rolled a 3, that's an awful roll. But for people who don't like dice, you're crazy. But if you don't like dice, you want to try something different, you can use these cards. So you just draw one, and it has different columns for how good your character's been. So if you've been really bad, you roll in the black column. And for D20, oh, we got lucky. We just rolled a 20. And we can see there's a yellow dragon on top. So the next card we draw, we get to use the yellow column. For D20, we rolled an 11. It's an alternative to dice, a little bit more random. It gives little skill things at the bottom that are never used. It was an impulse buy. I thought it was neat. Nobody else I know thinks it's neat. They think I'm crazy. But I enjoy it. Chess, I am not going to explain chess. If you don't know what chess is, then, well, a lot of schools have a chess club. Go sit down with them for a while. They'll put you off it in short order. Snake Oil. This is similar to Apples or Cards Against Humanity, only instead of trying to put together cards you think would be funny, you need to create a product, and then you need to sell that product to someone. Not actually sell them, you need to convince them that yours is the best out of the group. But you end up with 2 cards, and let's get a couple of examples in the back. So the judge pulls a card, in this case they're a pizza deliverer. And everyone else has their hands of cards, they pick 2 from their hand, and they have to make some product, like a catapult wagon, or a grease permit, a missile car, or caffeine smoothie. Really neat stuff. Takes a lot more brain power, but with the right group, it's a lot more fun. Okay, so the camera died there a little bit. I think the last one that I managed to get in was Snake Oil. So we have one more game that I've actually played, and that is Robo Rally. Kind of fun. You play as a little robot, you have to collect flags to win. Really neat. It's a programming game. You get a stack of cards and you have to program your robot. They're not very well programmed usually, because you're kind of limited with the cards you have. Long game, but tons of fun, and really chaotic, because everybody takes their turn at the same time. Now, on to the games that I've never actually played. These were gifts, but the people who gifted them either didn't have time to play them, or they gave them to me because they thought I would like them because they didn't. But let's just give a quick look. So on top we have Warhammer Disc Wars. So if you've ever played miniature games like Warhammer 40k or anything like that, there's a Star Wars one, the name escapes me. You play with little minis. Well, this is for people who can't afford minis, because instead of minis, you play with discs. And you flip the discs, they go across a battlefield, if they touch each other, they get into battle. I've never played this game. It doesn't seem like something I'd enjoy all that much, but, you know, it's a nice game. It's a pretty box, other than the fact that it's falling apart. It could be fun with the right people, I just don't know the right people yet. Then we have Power Grid. I have no idea what this game was about. It was given to me, someone was moving and said, here, you know what, I don't have room for this where I'm going, you take it, maybe you'll play more than I will. I've barely even opened the box of this one. Like, it's got an absolutely massive board, and it looks like Monopoly or something. I don't know, maybe not. It's, wow, I have no idea what's going on here. That power grid, that's all I gotta say on that one. And the last game that I'm going to talk about today is Planet Steam. This was another present. This was from the same guy who gave me Power Grid. And same reason. He had it and said, you know what, I've never played this. I don't have room where I'm going. Take this one. And I think it's the same kind of story as Power Grid. It comes with a reasonable sized board. And look, this one's still in like individual Ziplocs. Board is big 4-fold panel. There's a bunch of tokens and stuff. It looks like it could be neat. I've always liked steampunk stuff, but again, I just don't have the right group of friends to actually sit and play this stuff. So I've never given this one a go. So my battery's about to go. I don't have a whole lot of time. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found some new games that you might enjoy playing. I gotta take these and put them, they're over there, all away, and I'll see you next time. The darn lid back on.